and 14. And I'm going to go a little quick because it's very repetitive. Both lessons are focusing on division expressions. Remember, it's an equation if we have the equal sign. But we're not even going to be looking at the equal sign today. We're just going to be looking at different ways of writing division and the relationship between writing it with the division symbol and writing it with a fraction bar. Just to review some vocabulary, our dividend is our total quantity. That's what we have that we're dividing into groups. So we have our division symbol, so it's dividend divided by divisor. Or if we have it, for lack of a better term, in the house, our dividend goes on the end. Our divisor is outside. When you're outside, you have to wear a visor. Okay? So let's just jump right into example 1. Write an expression showing 1 divided by 2 without using that division symbol. So how else could I write 1 divided by 2? Okay, so 1 divided by 2, I could write it like a fraction because we know that the fraction bar means division. How can I write it with the house? What goes inside, what goes outside? Gentlemen? So this is how I would write 1 divided by 2? That shows 2 divided by 1. So it's actually 1 divided by 2. The house is the one where you have to be careful. The house one is the one that's kind of backwards. Because when we write it with the division symbol, it's left to right, 1 divided by 2. When we write it with the fraction bar, 1 divided by 2. When we write it with words, 1 divided by 2. So the house is the one where you have to be a little careful of, okay? Make sure you have all 3 of those written down in your notes. Now let's draw a model. What is my quantity? What do I have? What's my total amount that I have that I'm dividing into groups? Right, I have 1 whole. So this represents my 1. And how many groups am I dividing it into? 2. So let's cut it into 2 groups. Okay? So this shows 1 divided into 2 groups, and this shows 1 divided into 2 groups, which is a half. Right? Now, for the next one, it's asking us for A divided by 2. So I could just take the 1 and replace it with an A. It means the same thing. So let's write expressions showing A divided by 2. So let's make a model. So A is my total quantity. So we have A as our total quantity. We're going to divide it into 2 even groups. So that's A divided by 2. And that's A divided by 2. So A divided by 2 is the same thing as A divided by 2. So on that line it says when we write division expressions using the division symbol, what are we representing? What vocabulary word is being divided by what? What is my quantity being divided?
Your dividend is being divided by 2%.
Right, you're writing this in your notes. And written as a fraction. Moving right along, here's another summary sheet of all the vocabulary terms. So if you want to go to the blog and print out just this page and put it in your notes, you can. That might be helpful. Okay? Let's take a look at example 3. All right, so this is on the top of page 61. Write an expression showing A divided by B without using the division symbol. So A divided by B. That's it. Arian, please copy your notes. Stay with us, please.
Could you draw Mom, Frank?
We don't have to. We don't have to. They just want the expression. So write an expression for G divided by the quantity H plus 3. Write it with the division symbol and using the fraction bar. Now, oh my goodness, that's a lot of words. There's a lot of words there in the red. So I know I have to identify my dividend and I have to identify my divisor. So I have G being divided by something. So G is being divided by the quantity H plus 3. So how am I going to write H plus 3? I'm going to write H plus 3. Do I need that in parentheses? Yes, because otherwise it would be G divided by H. I don't want G divided by H.
Yeah.
I want G divided by the sum of H plus 3. Okay, now writing this using a fraction bar, G is being divided by the sum H plus 3. Here's the cool thing about when we write it as a fraction, we don't need the parentheses. It can be written just like that. So let's take a look at C. The quantity M reduced by 3 and 5. Now this one threw last period for a loop. So we're looking for the quotient. So we have to identify our divisor and we have to identify our dividend. So our quantity M reduced by 3 and 5. I would box those out so that you can identify your dividend and your divisor. That word and is telling you, okay, here's the other number you need. So we have M reduced by 3. So M reduced by 3 is subtraction. Okay, and then divided by 5. And again, we need the parentheses around the M minus 3 because I need to know the difference. And then divide it by 5. Otherwise, it would be 3 divided by 5 without the parentheses. Now, to write that as a fraction, it stays in the same order, which is nice. My left to right goes top to bottom. So M minus 3 divided by 5. And when it's written like a fraction, you don't need the parentheses. All right, moving right along. Take a minute now. My board says 1 through 4, so that's what my version shows, but on your paper it shows A through H. So right now, try A through D on your own, and then we'll go over the answers. All right, so let's take a look. 12 divided by 4. So 12 divided by 4, or 12 divided by 4. That's really sloppy. 3 divided by 5. Or 3 divided by 5. A divided by 4 or A divided by 4. Quotient, quotient. When you see the word quotient, that means you're going to divide. So you have to divide two numbers. You have to divide 6 and you have to divide M. So 6 divided by M. Or 6 divided by M. When it's written with the quotient of, it may not be as obvious which is your dividend. It doesn't tell you the quantity or what divided by what, but it's written in the order that you need it. 6 and M, so it's 6 divided by M. Okay? Try 5 through 8, or on your paper, E to the end. These are a little more complicated because it'll have 2 steps in one of them. I really think it would be a good strategy to box out what we're looking for, or use your highlighter or your colored pencils. We love our highlighter and colored pencils. So the 7 is being divided by the quantity X plus Y. So 7 divided by the quantity x plus y, or 7 divided by x plus y. We don't need the parentheses when we write it as a fraction. Y divided by x minus 11. Y divided by x minus 11. And I need those parentheses to say, yo, do this first. Do the subtraction first. Shh, gentlemen. Otherwise, you have to do y divided by x first. And I don't want y divided by x. I want y divided by this quantity. And then y divided by x minus 11. The sum of the quantity h and 3 divided by 4. So h plus 3, I need that sum and then divide it by 4. So h plus 3 divided by 4. And then the quotient, so that tells me, yo, you're going to divide. So I have k minus 10 and m. So k minus 10 divided by m. K minus 10 divided by m. Any questions on those? Now your homework for lesson 13 is on page 62. The problem set on page 62. You need to do this on loose leaves because 1, A, B, C, and D, you need to write it with a symbol and as a fraction. So that's going to take up some room, and they certainly do not give you enough room. And for number 2, you need a model. Okay? In fact, you need 2 models for number 2. 1 for each expression. Well, no, just the 1 model like we did in the beginning of the lesson. 1 model. All right. So now I'm going to hand out a note sheet for lesson 14. Okay, now we're going to look at lesson 14. Instead of using the notes in the modules, gentlemen, I just handed out a note sheet. The front is set A. The back is set B. So if you turn your note sheet over, set B, that's your homework tonight. The back of the note page is tonight's homework. And I'm going to show you now how to do it. So flip back to the front, set A. You should have your heading on the page. It should be sitting in your binder on top of page 63 with your full heading on top. Now everybody also got a note card. Everybody should have a pink card. The pink cards are for set A. So today what we're going to do is look at the different ways to write division equations. Quickly turn the note page over and look at the bottom of 63. So we can do dividend divided by the divisor. So the first way we could write it is with words. You're writing this on the bottom of page 63. Bottom of page 63. Bottom of page 63, example 2. Or we could do dividend divided by the divisor in the house. Or dividend divided by divisor using the division symbol. Or with the fraction bar, dividend divided by divisor. So the way this activity is going to work today, I'm going to show you a box like this. One of the 4 sections will be filled in. You have to come up with the other 3 ways to write the division expression, but I already gave everybody the answers. So if you think you have the answer, you're going to come up and fill it in on the board. We're going to do 1 box at a time, so everybody doesn't come up, and bring your card with you to hand in. But be careful, because I put in some clunkers. There are some clunkers in here. Please stop interrupting. Thank you. So, the first 4 boxes from your note sheet on the set A side I have on the board. So turn to the front of your notes. The top half of set A is on the board. The first one has the division symbol already filled in. So if you think you have the equivalent expressions for that, come on up. They all go in the same order. 5 divided by P, 5 divided by P, 5 divided by P. But the house, you either want to read it backwards, 5 divided by P, or think this one's opposite, P divided by 5. Now somebody said they had a clunker and they weren't sure why. What was the clunker? Who had it?
Mine was P. Mine was P over 5.
P over 5. Why is that a clunker? That would mean P divided by 5. But I'm not taking my P and dividing it into 5 cups. I'm taking my 5 and dividing it into P groups. Whatever gets you to pay attention. All right, let's go down. Shh. Let's go down to the quotient of G and H. So let's take a look at all of the answers for the first 4 boxes in set A. We have 7 divided by the quantity A minus 6. So you could break it up into your 2 parts. 7 divided by A minus 6. Notice how we only need the parentheses when it's written with the symbol. Make sure you have the language correct for the last one. The sum of M and 11 divided by 3. All right, let's try the bottom 4 in set A. Here are the answers for the bottom half of set A. The back of set A, which is set B, is your homework for tonight. If you want additional practice, you can work on set C as well.